Welcome back everyone, I hope you're taking it easy and today has been great thus far. For this video we'll be going through a review of the Captain America set from the Zimo Super Heroes line, and this was the first of 4 sets released. So when I first looked at Captain America I did do it as a traditional unboxing, and then for the subsequent videos, which was Thor, Spider-Man and Iron Man, everything was combined together with a nice little time lapse in the middle. So I thought I would circle back to Captain America, build it, since I had a good idea of how long it would take, and get this review out. So there's the box which we have seen before, and that'll pretty much be the end of it until it comes back into the frame later. So here we have the finished Captain America set, with Steve riding what I assume is some type of quote-unquote fighter jet, which actually isn't too bad looking. Much like Cap's usual J-Corum, colours are pretty much red, white, blue, with a little bit of silver here and there. And then there's just the yellow on the base of the levers. So here we have the front of the set, from the side, from the back, from the top, and from the bottom, and a bit of a angled shot. So it's actually not too bad. Build wise it was pretty standard, and I wasn't going to say simplistic, but the ease of build is on par with the other 4 sets, which was pretty cool. And we've already talked about the colours. In terms of some of the gimmicks, I obviously won't do it on the review. It does take a lot of force, I did actually try. So this jet that Steve has does have 2 projectile missiles, one on the left, one on the right, but it does take a good amount of force to actually eject the missile. But regardless of that, it's very nice to have that gimmick. In terms of actual moving pieces, there is one area of articulation. It's basically in the wings. So if you had a look at the bottom, the actual movement, well, the joint is just here on this red piece, and basically the wings can fold back. I don't think they'll fold back too much further even if I took the missiles out, just sparing where some of the parts of the plastic are connecting. But if I was to turn this over, that is basically what the jet now looks like. So from the side, from the front. So I actually don't mind the wings when they've been pulled back like that. Granted, it still makes a bit of sense for them to be like that, but it's a nice little quote-unquote alternative look of the jet. Is there any more articulation? Not really. It's pretty much the only moving parts on the actual model, with the exception of the levers moving up and down, but that's stock standard across all the 4 sets. So definitely, I'm not throwing it around the place, definitely not a bad looking set. I quite like how this one's turned out. I thought it would be a bit too simplistic in design, but having put it together and seeing what it can do, I'm actually appreciating it more. Now, I'll put that down. What I'll do is I'll try and take Steve off, since I actually realised I never really did do this for the other videos. So there is the minifig of Steve. Could his hair be a bit darker? Probably. Nothing on the back, so only his front torso has got the print on, and his bearded face. But yes, his hair could probably be a touch darker. And that's the minifig. If you put it next to a Lego minifig, I'm sure visually you would be very hard pressed to easily identify which one was the Lego, which one was the non-Lego, up until you picked one up and then did a proper comparison. So that's the minifig. Now what I will do is I will take off one of these shields, and yes, it can still be held by the minifig. So Steve can still happily hold a shield. In fact, if he really wanted to, he could hold 2 shields. Since we're here, I didn't do it earlier in any of the pictures, but what does he look like when he's dual wielding shields? Well, there you go. 2 shields. Which I'm actually surprised has probably has happened, but to my general recollection, I don't think it's actually happened where he's sported 2 shields. Probably could. Vibranium is probably a touch more accessible than it used to be? Question mark. So that's pretty much the Captain America set. So what was good about it? The build was pretty straightforward, colors are good, the actual set itself is fairly inexpensive. I've mentioned it a few times already. It's on par with a traditional Lego polybag. It is nice that we get the little minifig of Steve. There's a little bit of playability with the set, which is definitely good, and we do have that little gimmick of the missiles. Weaknesses of the product? Well, for what it is, it's really hard to say if there is one, other than maybe his headpiece could have been darker, but that's neither here or there. Could have a bit more articulation, probably, but once again, it's a relatively cheap set. There's only so much you can expect for a set at this price point, and to be honest, it's got a decent amount of playability, and heck, it's Steve. 2 shields. What more could you want? Would I recommend this particular set? Probably. I think if you're into anything Marvel and or Captain America specific, it's definitely not a bad thing to grab if you ever see one. I think the overarching weakness is being non-Lego, in the sense of non-formal Lego brand. It'll be hard to find, and I only found this in the others purely by chance, so that's definitely both a good thing and a bad thing, but it is what it is. But yeah, Captain America. So this actually wraps up the 4 sets. There will be a link to the playlist at the end of the video. I've also got some cards to the traditional Lego and Marvel videos as well. There'll be a little short of the final set, and in the next day or 2, at least once this is published, I will do a final short with the 4 sets together. Just to wrap that up, because I think that would be nice to see all 4 of them together. I don't know if I want to do a final review video now that all 4 are done, or if I will just leave some commentary in the description of the short when the time comes. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the review of the Captain America Zimo Super Heroes set, the first of 4. Thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All of this does help support the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account, link below. And as I mentioned, there will be some parallel content in the way of a short as well. Stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in a future video. See ya.